All right, I have a confession to make. I lied to you guys in my last video. I said I wasn't going to swap in my Warp 9 motor that I picked up a month ago now. And as you can see, it's in the car. I decided to do this. Let's see, I posted my last video Thursday or Friday. Friday morning, I woke up and decided I'm gonna build the coupler that I designed. I posted a short about how I was gonna do that. I built the coupler. It went really well. I had already ordered these adapter plates pre-cut for the motor from Send Cut Send, just in case I did want to go through this, but I was running out of time. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull it off. And once I got the coupler made, I was just like, I'm going for it. And I worked all the way until midnight Saturday night, pulling the old motor out, welding in a new cross brace on the frame rails here, and dropping in this new motor. And I gotta say, I'm super glad I did it. I really am. This thing is so much more efficient, a little bit more like bottom end. Like, I could get way more power out of this motor. It is way oversized for the battery setup that I have, but it also just makes it really easy to drive. Plenty of torque. I now don't even shift gears while I'm on the move anymore. I just pull up to a stop sign. I know how fast I'm going to need to go, and if I need to, I can just pull away in fourth gear straight from a dead stop, no problem. And which is good, because it is a little bit harder to shift with no clutch, given how much rotating mass there is with this new motor. But man, it's just so smooth. My new coupler design is rock solid. Really good spline engagement on the transmission, and I really got it nice and aligned with that dowel trick that I used, and I'm just super happy with how this thing drives now. A little bit more top end speed because it does spin faster than my other motor did. I think I can get some more speed out of it if I can figure out how to get the controller dialed in a bit more. But man, like, just stop sign to stop sign around town, just driving around in fourth gear, literally no problem. Has all the power it needs right now. So yeah, I'm sorry, I lied to you guys. I said I wasn't going to do it, but here it is. It's in. It really fills the engine bay a lot nicer than the other motor did. I think it looks really nice and clean. I am going to repaint this at some point, just a little scuff there. But quick little background on this motor. I found it on eBay for $1,000. Seller said it was completely unused, so I gambled on it, and everything on the brush side here, the communicator, that all looked brand new, so I believe them. And no weird noises, no squeaks, no squawks. Like, it's good. Another hidden benefit of going with this nice big heavy motor is with the heavy batteries in the back and that super light motor that was in here, I was getting like a lot of, the Carolina squat going on. So having that sorted, has the chimney sitting a lot more level now, and handles a little bit better. Still fine with the manual steering with the weight up front. But yeah, I'm really happy I went through with this. What are the other benefits? Not much. I got this really nice heavy duty band clamp, new cross member going across. I was able to just shorten these wires right here and put new terminals on them. They were bigger terminal studs, so snip those, cut those, throw those in. Nice and easy. Adapter plate went on pretty straight. Thank you, Send Cut Send, for that. Yeah, controllers handling the power, no problem. I don't know. It was a totally worth it upgrade. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I still think those D&D motors really do have a place, and I was using their low performance line motor, so it was even smaller. But once I got these new batteries and turned up the settings in this controller, I could pull away from stop signs of that thing in third gear as well. And depending on the gearing you have, or if you overvolted it and went with like 96 or 120 volts, which those things could handle, you would be getting a lot higher speed than I was seeing. Also, like, I have such deep gears in here, So there's a couple reasons that were limiting my speed with that and not making it the perfect setup. I also was needing to redesign my coupler. That original coupler that I built, while it worked really well, it wasn't perfect, and I did get just a little bit of chatter out of it. So I was either going to need to rebuild that coupler, put the same motor back in, which would have been a lot cheaper and would about the same amount of work. But by the time I found this, it was just too good of a deal to say no. So that's it. Sorry I lied to you guys. I lied to myself. I said I had enough power. I said I had enough. And then this thing popped up, and it's awesome. It probably weighs just about the same as a fully dressed gas engine that was in here before, like with all the fluids and the radiator, AC, power steering, all that. I would say this thing weighs exactly the same. I'm gonna just cut to the videos of me making the coupler and dropping the motor in with the crane that I put in my shop here after this. But yeah, so far I'm really happy with the drive. I go on a test drive, first impressions test drive with that, and that's why I discovered that shifting is a little harder with this big motor. But right after that video, I just stopped shifting if I didn't need to, and 90% of the time now I pull up to a stop sign in third gear and just pull away in third gear as well. It works well for low speed traffic, gets me up to like 35 miles an hour. And if I know I'm going to need to go faster than that, which around here we usually don't, I'll just start off in fourth gear and go from there. Oh, another thing I didn't talk about that is it's a lot more efficient. So even when I would just pull the other motor into the shop here, just around, like, you would feel it and it'd be warm to the touch. But I ripped this like a mile up the road, a mile back down the road yesterday when I filmed my first impressions drive. Came out here, touched the motor, and it was like room temperature. It even felt a little cool to the touch, the way metal sucks out the heat from your hand. And that's awesome. That's sick. These motors can handle like 1,000 amps. People really push the shit out of these motors. So running at like such a nice low steady rate and such a low weight vehicle, I expect a really long life out of this with a lot of performance. I may be wrong, let me know. But yeah, with the move coming up and this getting ready to get shipped, it was risky 72 hours or so before I moved to rip out the old motor and go for a complete redesign. But man, that risk has really paid off. I think this is going to make this thing just so much more drivable, so much more easier to get around and comfortable. This motor is quieter than the other motor, and with the new coupler, like, it's just so smooth. Yeah, I'm really happy about it. So yeah, there we go. Let's get into how I swapped it in. I just wanted to get this out of the way, and hope you enjoy the process. Thanks for watching. Alright, we have extracted the spline section from the clutch plate, just drilling out those rivets. Now what I'm going to do is take my centering jig that I built for my coupler. Just took this 1 1/8 dowel, ground down the center piece so that it matches the inside diameter of the splines really closely. This dowel is the same diameter as the net gain warp 9 that we're going to install. So I'm going to drop the splines down in here and weld that all up, and the dowel should keep it nice and straight, hopefully. But I gotta go cut this outer ring off so I have room to get my welder nozzle in there. Yeah, let's go burn this thing in. So now I got that inner circle of the clutch plate cut off. You can really see how nicely this fits in here. Let me make sure you guys are seeing that. Yeah, so just tucks right in to that coupler. I'm gonna clean off these corners a little bit, but I'll have plenty of surface to get a nice thick weld around it in. and be nice and straight because of the centering jig. So we'll grind off the protective coating on this coupler on the top, or I'm going to weld it. Nice clean surface, and yeah, should be good to go. It's coming together. All right, here we are. Welded the coupler to the splines from the clutch plate. Pretty good job. Much better than the welds on the other coupler I used. I think the steel is super cheap on those couplers. So a lot of porosity, but flux core welds, super hot, super strong. They're not the prettiest thing in the world, but they're gonna hold. So that's welded up. Gonna let it cool down, have some lunch, 'cause it's about 1,000 degrees. And then I rigged up this Vevor manual chain hoist to pick up this dang Warp 9 because it weighs so much, and like, you know, I got it going on, but I'm not that strong to be picking it in and out all the time. So go get some lunch, let that cool down, slop that in there, and then I have one of these, hang on, it's right here, one of these cradle mounts that's gonna go on the Warp 9 itself. These are actually designed for the Hyper 9, but I've seen another YouTuber fit these to the Warp 9 without too many issues. And this one didn't come with the lifting eye bolts that some of them did. I don't know the real history on this motor. The guy says he never used it. I don't know if it's an older design or a newer design. But yeah, him not using it checks out. Doesn't seem like there's any wear and tear inside the motor, like, you know, brush dust or anything. So yeah, we'll like slide a piece of rope under this when we pick it up with this hoist here. Pick that up. I'm gonna have to redesign the cradle mount that I built for my other motor. I'm gonna have to drop it down a little bit and possibly move it more towards the front of the car, depending on where the center of gravity of this thing sits, but we're gonna find that out together. And yeah, I'm gonna pull the chimney in here in a little bit and get the old motor out and start going. We got about 3 days before this thing's gonna go on a boat to my next location. So yeah, some people say I'm crazy for trying this, but you only live once. All right, got some updates. We have the old motor out. I'm pretty glad I'm doing this because I got to talk more in depth about this coupler that I used the first time I tried this. It has done the job. It has not been perfect. My way of getting the clutch splines out and welding that, all that's been fine. But the issue is this coupler down here used a set screw on top of the keyway to lock it in place, and that just wasn't really strong enough. I tried flipping the coupler over, drilling a new hole, and putting a set screw on the bottom. That worked pretty good, but I'm just getting like a little bit of wobble and some not great stuff out of that coupler. It's been fine, but it's probably not long for the world, so I am glad that I'm doing this upgrade. Not that I couldn't have fixed that with a different coupler and whipped all that up, but I didn't plan for that, and I'm on an island, so parts are hard to get. So anyways, here we are. We have our new coupler. It is just a slight bit longer than that coupler. So I'm gonna have to add one more shim plate between my motor and my transmission, but I'm just gonna reuse the old one, put new holes in it. Should be plenty strong. Motor's there, motor's out. What's going on here is this is my cross member that I added in to mount the original electric motor. So just faffed around with a couple ideas for a minute and found the best way to go ahead with this. I am going to cut the brackets that I put on the frame. They're just like 1.5 1/4 inch angle brackets, right angle brackets, and they're currently sitting on the frame like this. I'm going to cut them off, flip them down like that, and it'll give me the 1-inch drop that I need to line my coupler back up with the transmission pretty straight. What's sick about these Suzuki's is the transmission uses like a jack shaft between the transmission and the transfer case, so like it makes it a lot easier to line up, and is a lot more forgiving. Not that you want to fuck it up, but definitely easier to work with. One day I think what I will do with this, possibly with this Warp 9, possibly with a Leaf motor or a Hyper 9, is do a direct drive straight to the transfer case. I pretty much just drive around in 4th gear now, which is the same thing as having a direct drive, and it's got plenty of power. I'm hoping that'll definitely be the case with this new motor, but with this tiny 7-inch one, it absolutely was the case with these new batteries. So I think that's the move, honestly. Like, having the transmission's fun, but if you have an AC motor and it's super easy to swap between forward and reverse with a switch of a button, I think with these, a direct drive straight to the transfer case is probably the way to go, honestly. But I digress. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this cross member fixed, hook the motor up to my crane, do a first test fit. Hopefully before the baby wakes up for her nap, but probably not. But then we're going to the beach. So, sounds good. Catch you guys later. All right, midnight update, Saturday. It is indeed midnight, but the Eagle has mostly landed. Put up a good fight, for sure. I don't know, but the coupler is definitely aligned. That's what the important part is. Had to like kind of adjust my bolts a little bit on my template here. And I don't know if I talked about this in this video yet, but basically new plates from Send Cut Send that fit the Warp 9, and reused my original bell housing adapter plate as the drill template for the bell housing. It all fit, and then when I got it in with the motor, it was just a touch off, so I don't know. Screwed around a little bit. It's in. I think it's going to be solid. This Vevor crane, lifesaver. I would not have been able to do this. This thing is so heavy. Without this thing, super smooth. Didn't drop it. I think it was $48. So if you're looking for a chain hoist for your garage, that's a pretty good option. So what's left? Basically all I got to do is weld in my new cross member. I didn't weld it yet because I wanted to be able to make an adjustment if needed be here or there. Seems good. And then high voltage wiring from the controller to the motor, and we go for a test drive. So hoping to do that tomorrow morning at some point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Have a good night. All right, test drive time. I didn't film any of the wiring and like just kind of buttoning up process on this upgrade. If you want to see any of that, I went through it quite a bit in my build videos when I originally converted this thing. But look how big and beefy that Warp 9 is in this engine bay now. It is huge. I'm super excited. Just extended a couple cables and stuff to get it to fit. As you saw, I used the chain hoist to crank it up over the car and kind of rolled it under. So yeah, I'm just going to button up a couple things here, and then we're going for a test drive. Catch you in a sec. Alright, here you go. You guys are coming on the maiden voyage right out of the driveway. Feels pretty good so far, backing out. Hopefully you don't fall down. Nice and smooth. You're going to hear some rattling. It's probably just my table that I have on the tailgate in the back. Oh, this feels better already. Nice and smooth feeling. Take it slow. Alright, we're going to pull right up this hill. In second gear right now. Pull it away. Third. Feeling pretty good. It's a little harder to shift than with my other motor. I guess I kind of expected that. It's a lot more rotating mass. That hum you hear is the rear end. This thing's pretty beat, honestly. Sound feels pretty good though. Yeah, we're going right along here. I think it'll kind of work itself in. We'll be great. It's only a 25-mile-an-hour road, so taking it nice and slow. Feels way better than it did with that other coupler, though. I can tell you that. I'm just going to turn off here. Yeah, it's definitely a little tougher to shift without the clutch, but I'll get used to that. Spin around. Oh, it feels so much better. Third gear takeoff, foot hard down. Just checking to make sure there's no cops. Yeah, definitely a little harder to shift, but that's gonna be alright. We'll get used to that. There we go, there's some speed. Oh yeah, this feels so much better. Also the weight is way better balanced with the heavier motor in the front. It's about the exact same weight as the gasoline engine was. Definitely like fully dressed. So the car sits a lot more level now. Yeah, I'd say this is a win for sure. Feel my cables, they're feeling pretty good. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to catch you guys later. Go test, put some miles on this thing. Should be more efficient than the smaller motor. Looking at the charts, it's about 10% more efficient, which should add for some more range. And yeah, definitely more torque. I tuned the controller a little bit to match this thing a little better, but man, it's feeling so much smoother with that new coupler design. Yeah, I'm super glad I just worked until midnight last night to get this done. It took me about 2 hours this morning to get some stuff wrapped up. Just lengthening the wire, cutting the wires down, buttoning up all the new bolts. Yeah, I'm happy. Definitely happy. I'll put some miles on it, and then I'll come back with some more reviews.